Hey, what's up, Kyle? Thanks for getting into time because it's a very interesting road to take to try to understand consciousness, a different angle. Um, and I know you said you weren't going to get into it much, but at the beginning of your video, you pretty much said that you think time, as we experience it, is some kind of perceptual illusion, a product of evolution that allows us to survive on this planet, but that doesn't have much to do with the real time or the real lack of time, or I guess you didn't even go there, but so the question then becomes: is time a perceptual illusion, or is it a cosmic principle? And if we're going to take any cosmology seriously, um, cosmic evolution, or if we're going to take biological evolution seriously, time must in some way be a cosmic principle. It's something that happens. There is a direction to time, because if there's not, none of our science makes any sense. Um, because without evolution, we don't our knowledge would crumble. Um, so would cause and effect, causality would be obsolete. So I think we're kind of committed, if we're going to do science, to the idea that time, the directionality of time, is a product of um, the universe itself. It's not something we project onto the universe, though obviously what we experience as time um, varies. Sometimes when we're having fun, time flies, and sometimes when we're not, it drags. So there is this subjective element that changes or dilates time or squishes time. Um, and the phi effect is definitely interesting, that the brain just kind of sees movement even when it's not really there. It just infers it automatically, because the firing or the appearance of the two dots is so quick that the brain can't really distinguish um, them as separate events. It just connects them, and it is definitely true that there's no slice of time um, where consciousness is. If you just have a slice, a discrete moment, a point in time, there will be no consciousness there, because consciousness is only capable of manifesting itself, especially at the complicated level that the human brain um, allows consciousness to manifest. It takes a certain duration of time, a certain chunk, rather than a thin slice or a point. It takes a chunk of time, 200 milliseconds or so, let's say, or 500 milliseconds, for consciousness to actually register anything. Um, I don't think this is at all at odds with the pan-experientialist um, understanding, though, because we could easily suppose that the more complicated an occasion of experience gets, which is Whitehead's term for any percipient event like my body or another animal or organism or molecule or atom, but let's not go there. Um, the more complicated I get as a percipient event, as a body, the more duration is required for me to have a conscious experience. We can imagine that a smaller, a simpler organism, let's just say a mouse, um, can is conscious at a much smaller within a much smaller interval. But when you shorten the interval of consciousness, the intensity and the depth of that consciousness would also shrink. So even though we require more time for a full conscious moment to occur, we get more information from that full conscious moment than a mouse gets from its smaller full conscious moment. So time, the smaller you get, becomes faster. The larger you get, it becomes slower, because you're taking in more of it at each particular moment consciously. I think that makes sense. But yeah, I don't think that this raises a problem with pan experientialism. Um, but I'm glad that you brought this topic up, and let me know what you think. or continue with your series and get back to me. You know, I don't want to hold you up.